When I think about what makes Attack on Titan great, three obvious things come to mind: Isayama's writing, Studio West's animation, Sawano's music, and the banging openings like holy shit. So being the stupid YouTuber I am, I'm gonna rank all of them. Since all the openings are such bangers, I could simply just go through them one by one and tell you what I like about them, but where's the fun in that when I could say Number 1, the greatest Attack on Titan opening of all time. Since rankings and tier list videos are so big on YouTube, I'm sure some other people have already done this idea before, so let's see what Slimo La Game has to say. These guys have shit taste. Before I begin, I just want to make a disclaimer that I think every Attack on Titan opening is a banger, and this video is more of me explaining what I like about each of them and why they're so great, rather than trying to prove that one is better than the other. So just because Gurren no Yumiya is number 7 doesn't mean I think it's bad. Just because Gurren no Yumiya is number 6, actually, the only reason why this video is a ranking in the first place is because that's the only way I could get you to click on it. But Corbro, doesn't that mean you scammed us? Anyways, let's just jump right into it. This video contains spoilers, obviously. Number 7, Gurren no Yumiya. As iconic as Gurren no Yumiya was, when I sat down to really think about it, I came to realize that there really wasn't much to say about it, other than that it brought the hype that it needed to bring. It was the first of Link to Horizon's iconic rock anthems that would come to be closely associated with the series, and it's paired with the imagery of humanity triumphing over the Titans, with some of that good old Studio Wit ODM gear animation. I think Gurren no Yumiya, along with Attack on Titan's attention-grabbing first episode, did the perfect job in bringing in that initial audience, and making them interested in the show, because my god is it catchy. A legendary start to a legendary show. This is the type of shit we'll be telling our grandkids 50 years later. Number 6, Shoukei to Shikabane no Michi. My god, that's a mouthful. And honestly, the biggest problem with this opening is that it's not the full song, which is a damn shame because the full version slaps. What I liked about this opening is that the song is basically a medley of all of the previous Link to Horizon's openings, mashed into one big orgasmic chorus. And I think this was the perfect choice to be the opening for the finale of the Basement arc, because Season 3 Part 2 served as the climax and the ending to everything the show had been building up to that point. Attack on Titan, up to this point, had mostly been a story about the conflict between the humans and Titans, but moving forward, that would no longer be the case. And while I miss them just as much as everybody else, I think it's also fitting that it's the last Link to Horizon opening we ever got, because of the shift in tone we would see in Season 4. More on that later. Number 5. Where were there dinosaurs in this opening? Number 4. Jiu no Tsubasa. This is a bit of a controversial pick. I know people like their Sasageos and Jaegers, but out of all the Link to Horizon songs, this one has always stood out to me as my favorite. And the reason for that is that Jiu no Tsubasa does the perfect job in capturing this feeling of listening to a patriotic anthem, more so than all the other openings. The song starts out in German, with this epic choir cheering in the background to this wide drone shot of the camera rising above the walls, as the Soviet Corps ride on horseback beyond the walls. After spending the entirety of Season 1 inside the walls, the female Titan arc was a nice change of pace as Eren journeys into the Titan territory for the first time in his life, taking us, the viewers, along with them. It was humanity's first step against the Titans in years, decades, and I think Jiu no Tsubasa, or the Wings of Freedom, feels like an homage to everything the Survey Corps used to stand for. And as if this song couldn't get any more epic, there's a part where it's all, oh my god, Jesus Christ! Coming from the massively popular opening that was Gurren no Yumiya, Jiu no Tsubasa had a lot to live up to, and some people were inevitably bound to be disappointed. But to me, this song will always be one of my favorite anime openings of all time, and I will never not sing the chorus in my broken Japanese. You won't take me to Korea, you turn on my dick. Number 3. The Rumbling. As the song that would serve to be the last opening we ever got of this legendary series, I honestly didn't know what to expect when I first sat down to watch the first episode of Season 4 Part 2. And boy, was I pleasantly surprised. Coming from Log Horizon's rock anthems to Red Swan and then finally My War, I can't say Anime Metal was my first guess for the opening song of Attack on Titan's finale, but I would be lying to you if I said that I didn't have a big stupid grin on my face the entire way through. Honestly, this one may not be as chock full with symbolism and other deep shit as the other two I'm about to mention, mostly because it kinda just spoils the entire ending, but I think the rumbling is definitely one of the most cinematic openings we've had for sure. I mean, look at all these shots of sexy Eren, man! Most of the opening has a cinematic film grain over it, not to mention it makes some really creative uses of letterboxing with its transitions. What's letterboxing? It's these black bars. Like, look at this, you can pause it any second in this OP and you'll find something wallpaper material, and the color grading really brings it all together as they use these really vintage and sort of toned down low saturation colors that kinda makes the opening look like something you'd find in a war movie, which is super fitting for the season in my opinion. Okay, I'm done talking about that nerdy shit, let's talk about the lyrics, because I think that was definitely the highlight of this opening for me. What really made the rumbling special to me is that the lyrics seem to be written from the perspective of Eren, a character that's felt so foreign ever since the start of season 4. The transition of Eren going from a shonen protagonist to a war criminal has to be one of the most jarring yet crazy developments I've seen in anime writing, and a lot of my time watching season 4 was spent thinking, why? What caused Eren to change like this? What's making him go to such lengths to do everything he's doing? And as more and more of the plot and Eren's plan was revealed, the more relatable and relevant this opening became to what was happening in the story, because I think the rumbling captures that emotion of Eren's desperation perfectly. All I ever wanted to do was do the right thing, and all I wanted to do was save your life. If you've paid attention to the lyrics of this opening, you might have noticed that these are references to things Eren has said and done in the past. The flashback in season 4 when Eren expresses how much he cares about his friends and his home, and a throwback to season 1 when Eren saved Mikasa's life by killing her kidnappers. And finally, in the climax of season 4 where we go through the memories of Grisha with Zeke and Eren, it all clicks. Season 1 or Season 4, Eren's always been the same, along with his constant pursuit of one thing, freedom, and his willingness to move forward despite what the world around him tells him, no matter what the consequences may be. Eren didn't change. Ever since Season 1, he's been fighting the things that stood between him and his freedom. The only difference now is that instead of Titans, that thing was the entire world. And amidst Season 4's politics and drama, we see Eren constantly fighting despite the curse of Ymir limiting his lifespan, struggling to make a significant change in the little amount of time he has. And it all comes together in that chorus as the world around him threatens to destroy everything he loves and cares about. Desperation drives him to be who he became. The rumbling is an opening that grew on me. When I first heard it, I was like, yeah, it's pretty good, but I think, and now I'm like, Number 2. Red Swan. From the start, as those iconic first notes were played from no other instrument but a single piano, we knew that this opening wasn't like anything we'd heard on Attack on Titan before. It was a stark contrast to Linked Horizon's anthem rock songs that made you feel patriotic for a country that doesn't even exist. Yet, as we see Eren, Mikasa, and Armin in the ruins of their hometown with flashbacks to their childhoods, a time when things were much simpler, it all feels strangely nostalgic. And as I saw the contrast between the childhoods and adulthoods of these characters I'd come to love and care about so much, it all made me reflect on just how far it had all come. Not just the stories and the characters, but us as an audience too. Remember, there was a time when we didn't even know if humans existed outside the walls, let alone an entire world outside the small island the main narrative took place in. Titans used to feel like a big threat, and nobody knew who the true enemy was. And as Yoshiki sensually whispers the words into your ears, you can't help but to beg yourself the question, is the truth even worth knowing, and does knowing truly bring us freedom? In many ways, Red Swan wasn't the hype-generating, patriotic anthem rock that we all wanted, but the mellow retrospective into just the hell of a ride that we had been on to get to this point that we needed. It felt like a send-off To the characters we'd lost, the comrades who'd given their life for our main cast to get to where they are today, an ending of an era where Attack on Titan was about humans fighting titans, closure to the secret of the basement that the story had revolved around for so long, a climax to a legendary arc of the Survey Corps and their journey outside the walls. But at the same time, it paved the path for what Attack on Titan would become, no, what it naturally had to transform into. In many ways, Attack on Titan Season 3 was a goodbye to Attack on Titan as we knew it, but also it signaled the beginning of the end, a hello to what would become one of the greatest pieces of fiction ever written. Number 1. My War. Following the absolute roller coaster that was Season 3's climax, the start of Season 4, as we're involuntarily put into the perspective of the Marleyans, felt deeply foreign to me. And there couldn't have been a better opening to perfectly encapsulate that feeling than My War. Everything from the ominous intro on the piano, which erupts into Shinsei Kamata-chan's haunting vocals as the chaotic visuals of war fill your screen, colors flying everywhere, bombs blowing shit up. Where are the World War II soldiers? Where are titans falling from the sky? Where are the main characters? Eren, Armin, Mikasa, none of them appear in the opening. How many anime openings don't include their main characters in the animation? I don't know, but probably not a lot. The black and white colors contrast the war between the Eldians and the world, because there's far more to war than black and white, good versus evil. While the colorful explosions are symbolic of the way war and its heroes are glorified and romanticized to be brave and valiant heroes, when in reality, it's anything but. Doves falling from the skies, the wings of freedom that the Survey Corps once wore on their capes, and the titans that rain from the sky, a reference to a certain scene in Season 4. And though they're on separate sides, they were all once Eldians. Eldians whose lives were taken as a byproduct of war. And the lyrics ring out. Destruction and regeneration. The endless cycle the Titan Shifters, the protagonist of the show, are put through. Constantly destroying their bodies and regenerating, while also causing destruction in their wake, to see their own goals, ideals, and ambitions come to fruition. War is selfish, and nothing screams that truth louder than the ending of the song, as the instruments fade out and we're left with the ominous keys of the piano from the intro again, with a single voice crying out from a distance. War. My War. I don't know if such thing as a perfect anime opening exists, but if it did, My War might as well be it.